Hello and welcome to my first ever pregnancy update. I am currently 15 weeks pregnant as of today, so I have made it through the first trimester and I am well on my way to growing this cute little baby that's inside me. And there's so many things that I want to share, so many things that I just want to document. So I wrote down some notes. They're really messy. I hope I'm not jumping all over the place and I hope I'm not out of breath the entire time, but I will take some pauses as necessary so that I can get through this successfully, and hopefully my two cats will cooperate. I've just wrangled them off of my chair, cleared the way so that I can get talking all things baby and pregnancy. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So as I said, I am currently 15 weeks pregnant. I first found out that I was pregnant on October 18th, 2017, and today is January 4th, 2018. So we are 3.5 months in officially, which is just crazy to think because it seems like just yesterday I was just hitting these like initial milestones of like 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and then double digits, and now I'm like already 15 weeks and the halfway point is really just around the corner, which is just so insane. So I'm just so overwhelmed and so excited for what's to come, and yeah, it's been so insane. So I'll go into more detail in a different video about the whole trying to conceive situation. It only took my husband and I about 2 months, and I initially had a gut feeling the first month that I was pregnant and it didn't happen, but the second month things were just a little bit different, and of course I was so hopeful, but things were slightly different that gave me just an inclination that this was actually the month. So I had some initial symptoms. I had some just cramping like in my groin, nothing that was painful. It was just like kind of uncomfortable, kind of just like, that's weird. I don't usually have that type of pain. And then I had just like more breakouts on my face. I've always suffered with acne here and there throughout teen adulthood. I'm 25 and it just like lingers. So I don't think it's going anywhere, but when I was first thinking that I was pregnant, I was getting some really just bigger breakouts like along my chin, even like on my neck, which is really weird. And then I was getting even some acne on my arms and my chest and my back, and that never happens. It's usually just contained to my face. So I was like, this is really strange. I wonder if hormones are like getting crazy in there or something. And then another symptom was I had this extremely vivid dream, which I rarely remember my dreams in general, but this dream was just absurd. It was along the lines of I was at this like hotel or something, and I was hiding under a table, and I see this extremely bright, huge blue bird that was just walking around. It was like burying these eggs under blankets, and it would like toss eggs to the side that weren't colored. That's my cat scratching. Toss eggs to the side that weren't colored, but then colored eggs it would bury. And my cats are gonna fight in the background now. Guys, really? Really? I don't even have kids yet, just cats, and I can't even contain them. Just kidding, back on track. So this dream, yeah, weird blue bird, and it was just something that was just so vivid in my mind, and I'll never forget it. And that's also one of the reasons that I was like, are we having twins? Because there was something in the dream where there were like 2 eggs, and that was significant. And then also the whole blue bird thing, that was my first hint, like, maybe this is a boy, but I will get into that later. So anyways, this vivid dream had that before I even had a pregnancy test. It was about 5 days before I took a pregnancy test. And then the other symptom that really just like pushed me over the edge was I was in the week prior to my projected period start date, and I just had a lot of extra discharge, which is really weird. That doesn't really happen, especially close to my period. So I had gone out for a walk during lunch at work one day, and I came back and I was just like, that's a lot, like that's not normal. So I wanted to take a pregnancy test the next day, which would have been about 5 days before my missed period, which I knew was really early, but I was just so anxious to know because there was a conference that I was going to at the end of the week, and I just wanted to know if I was pregnant or not because there would be drinking involved and all that. So anyways, moved to the next day after I went for this walk at work, and I took just a cheapy little test that I ordered off Amazon. I had ordered a bundle of ovulation test strips, and then it came with just some cheap pregnancy test strips. And so I took this in the morning, and I saw what I thought could be a line, but I just almost like didn't believe what I was seeing, and I was like, I think I'm just trying too hard to see something there. So I took the test, and all day long I was like, did I see something there? Am I just trying to believe that something's there? I was just so hung up on it. So I got home that night and I took another one, and I knew that taking a test later in the day, like it might not be as strong. The hormone in the pee might not be detected as well as if I took the test first thing in the morning. So I wasn't really like expecting to see anything. But then again, I saw like the faintest little line, and this time I swear it was like a little bit darker, but that time for sure I was like, there's something there. I'm not making this up. I don't think I'm crazy. And so that whole night I was like, okay, in the morning I'm gonna take a real test, and this will tell me for sure what's up. And so that night my husband and I were sitting on the couch watching TV, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait till tomorrow. This is better than Christmas Eve. Like I just want to know for sure. And of course I wanted to tell him, but I didn't want to say anything until I was sure, because I love surprises and he's like such a hard person to surprise. So I thought, you know, if I could really surprise him with official good news, that would be a total score. So the next day I woke up, took a real pregnancy test, one of the clear blue first response ones, and it was an obvious positive, and I was over the moon, just excited, and just unreal, just anticipating how you would feel in that moment, and then it actually happening, just so exciting and so crazy. And so of course I had to go to work after that, and that was just, my mind was not at work at all, because I was so excited to tell my husband that night. So at lunch I ran out to Target and I got one of the digital pregnancy tests, and then I also picked up a onesie that said Team Dad or something like that. So that night I was making dinner when he got home, and I had taken this digital pregnancy test already and had it ready to go, and my husband went upstairs to take a shower while I was finishing dinner. And while he was upstairs, I put the onesie and the pregnancy test and these little cute little booty things on our dining room table. And so when he came down, he saw it, and I surprised him that way, which was really fun, really exciting. I cried, and just so exciting. I was just so happy, and just so surreal too, because just thinking back to those early stages, you want to be so excited. You want to just go and just tell the whole world, but at the same time, it takes a little bit for it to process in your own mind to think that it's actually real, because you don't really see anything changing. You don't really feel that much changing. So you don't, I mean, at least me, I didn't want to get my hopes up and thinking something was happening that really wasn't. Like I hadn't even missed my period yet. So it was really early, but I mean, regardless, we were over the moon. So the next couple of days were a little crazy because I went away overnight for a conference at the end of the week. So I was still like processing all of this while trying to like play off that I was drinking things that I really wasn't. then that weekend, that Sunday, was the first day of my missed period. So I missed my period and I was like, okay, phew, like good, because that whole weekend I was just like afraid that all of a sudden I would start my period or something and then be disappointed. And yeah, so I was really relieved when I missed my period. And so I called the doctor that following Monday to let them know where I was at, and then we scheduled an appointment for like 4 weeks out from that point. And I was like, 4 weeks, that's so long, like what? And it took me a little bit, but then I came to realize that it was so early in pregnancy that really anything they could do or check, like, it really wouldn't impact anything. So it was really just a time of sitting back and waiting and letting things start doing their crazy thing in there. But waiting is so hard. And you know, I knew I was pregnant because I took the pregnancy test and I missed my period, but at the same time, I'm still like, well, can't a doctor like tell me I'm pregnant? Like, I know I'm pregnant, but isn't there some official proof here, like some documentation they can sign to say, yeah, you're really pregnant? Because this whole thing is just like mind-blowing in general. So that was a little hard for me to just process, and also just the fears and the things that I was unsure of. There's so much information out there these days on the internet, and of course I wanted to read all that I could because I was just so fascinated with everything that was happening. But at the same time, there was so much that I would see or like just get a glimpse of as I was scrolling through or Googling things, and I didn't want to see those things. Like, I didn't want to feel discouraged. I didn't want to feel worried for unnecessary reasons. So it was really a challenging time of balancing the information that I was taking in while keeping a secret too. Because I mean, going through this major thing that you're keeping quiet about is tricky. So it was a crazy time. I'm amazed that we made it through it because I felt like it was never going to end. Thank God it did, and thank God I am at 15 weeks now, and that whole period of time is a thing of the past, and now I can reflect on it and tell you guys. So let's reel it back in. I'm going to talk about those initial symptoms. So week 5 through 8 were probably the roughest weeks for me. That's when I really started to have some intense symptoms. I was very nauseous. Thankfully, I have not actually been sick, like throwing up wise. I've had some like other bathroom things, but I haven't been over the toilet throwing up, which I'm so thankful for. I was so worried about that, especially because I work a full-time job and I just was really unsure of how I would be able to handle that plus morning sickness. So I'm really thankful for that. But even though I wasn't throwing up, I had some serious food aversions. There were a couple weeks there where nothing sounded good. Vegetables, oh, no way. Pretty much I just wanted carbs, cereal, bread, just crap food, which it was tough because I was in this cycle of I didn't want to eat because nothing sounded good, and then I wouldn't really eat enough or the right things, which would just fuel me feeling like crap. So that was a rough period to get through, to get into a groove of eating the right things at the right time, so I wasn't letting myself get too hungry and feel worse again. But really now I'm finally feeling like I'm at a point where I feel like my normal self, where I could probably eat the same things that I used to eat before I was pregnant. There's still a couple things that I can't deal with, but there was that period of time where I thought I would never feel like a normal human being again. But thank God that's over. Some other symptoms, I got bloated like right away. Like I felt like I was 5 weeks pregnant, and I was 5 weeks pregnant. I felt like I was way more pregnant, like already showing when I was 5 weeks pregnant, which wasn't the case. I was just extremely bloated. that was rough. That was rough. I did not like that because I didn't want to have to wear like stretchy clothes and stretchy pants already. I wanted to look normal as long as I could, but your body does crazy things and there was no fighting it no matter what I ate. So that was that. Acne, again, it just persisted and just in weird places and just that was rough. I was tired, of course, and then my boobs were so sore. So these were the main symptoms between weeks 5 and 8. I think that was really the roughest period for me. I can't even talk. I hit week 8 right around, actually, I was 8 weeks pregnant on Thanksgiving Day. So right around that time was when I felt like I turned a corner and that I was actually having a little bit more of an appetite again, feeling a little bit better, like I had a little bit more energy. So that was really, really great. And right around that point too is when I had my first appointment. And at this appointment, I didn't even meet with the midwife or an OB or anything. I just met with a nurse, and she basically just went through all these questions, answered them like about history and whatever. I had some blood work done, peed in a cup. She didn't even check anything, didn't even like do anything. There wasn't even any proof again that I was pregnant. So that was again me just being like, well, can't you just like confirm this for me, like for sure? I mean, even though I knew I was pregnant, like it had been 8 weeks since I had a period, just you want that confirmation because your mind is doing crazy things, your body's doing crazy things, and you don't want to think that you're crazy. So they didn't confirm anything there, they didn't even check anything out. So I thought they might check something out, you know, but they didn't. So I had to wait another 2 weeks until I had my first midwife appointment, and then they actually looked at stuff. We got to hear the heartbeat, and then I knew like for sure there was something growing in there. So that was a relief right there in itself. I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. I did a little bit. So I'm gonna rewind a little bit. We told our parents when I was 6 weeks. So I was right in that little rough period. So it was good that at least our family or our parents knew during that time, so they could be, you know, praying for us and thinking of me and helping me get through this like just crazy time of me feeling like crap. That was exciting. That was really fun to tell them. Let's see. I guess I'll also mention that my starting weight at that first appointment was 135 pounds. So I've really been the past year, 2 years, right around 130, 132, hanging out around there. So at week 8, I was 135. So I had put on a little bit of weight, probably bloat, water retention, and just eating carbs. So a little weight in the first little chunk of the pregnancy, but not much. So I'm looking at my notes again, and I will say that Thanksgiving was week 9. So week 8, the week before Thanksgiving, was when I had my first appointment with the nurse. Week 9 was Thanksgiving, and then week 10 was when I had that first initial appointment with the midwife. And at that appointment, we heard the heartbeat. It was right around 170 beats per minute. Insane how fast those little hearts beat when they're so tiny. And then at that time too, I was feeling a lot better, still progressively feeling better. But like bathroom issues, like constipation and stuff, that started to become a thing, and that was a pain in the butt for a bit. So anyways, moving on. Week 11, really nothing had changed, still just kind of waiting for that next appointment, and things were getting a little bit better, but nothing really that extreme. And then week 12 was when I had the first ultrasound, which was just amazing to see. My husband, thankfully, he was able to go with me to that, and he was able to witness it firsthand as well. And of course we got some pictures, but it was just unreal to see our little baby just growing already visible like features on his face, like the little profile, arms and legs, and oh my gosh, it was so cool. And then the lady who is doing the ultrasound tech, I think that's what you call them, she switched over the machine and did the 3D, and that was just outrageous to see. Just so crazy. I mean, one of the pictures we have looks like the little guy has like meaty thighs and meaty arms, and it's just so unreal. So that was just such a happy day to actually see him for the first time. And you see I keep dropping like the pronouns for a boy because sneak peek. I'm just jumping ahead. Anywho, so ultrasound was really cool. They said that he was measuring about 5 days ahead, which I thought was really cool. So maybe he'll be a big baby. I don't know. I apparently was a big baby. We don't know much about my husband because he was adopted when he was 2.5. So we know nothing about his medical history of his parents, of his family, of him really before he came to America. So that's part of the reason we have done the testing that we've done so far, the first trimester screening, things like that, because we just want to be cautious and aware of anything that we may need to be considering, just because we don't know anything about his history. But thankfully everything has come back great so far. The little guy is healthy and growing. Let's see what else. Right after the ultrasound, or right around the ultrasound, I don't remember for sure. Oh shoot, I think I'm gonna run out of battery. All right, I'm back. I just had to do a little quick memory card change just as I was getting into week 13, I think, pretty sure. Yeah, ultrasound was week 12. So according to some apps, I was out of my first trimester at that point. But then moving on to week 13, which is really, I guess, technically the end of the first trimester, that is when I did the sneak peek blood test to find out if we were having a little boy or a little girl. And according to the test, we were having a little boy, which is a total shocker, right? Because I haven't been dropping that hint the whole freaking time I've been doing this video. It's becoming more natural to say he though, which is like crazy. Even though I'm 15 weeks pregnant, sometimes I still have to like pinch myself that it's real. But being able to say he and him really helps it feel a little bit more real. So that's really cool. Anyways, I did this sneak peek blood test, and I will do a review of this at a later date. Too much to say in this video, which is already long. But anyways, I did it because I wanted to surprise my husband. Again, I'm a big fan of surprises, and anytime I can surprise him is a win. So it was the week before Christmas that I did this test. So I got it back the Friday before Christmas. Christmas was on Monday, so I was cutting it really close. But I got the news, and I had planned to do a little scavenger hunt for my husband. We did our presents on Christmas Eve because we were doing Christmas Day with family. So I wrapped up a bunch of different clues and hid them around and had him do this little scavenger hunt. And then ultimately he found this little onesie that said Dapper Dude Club, which giveaway, it was a boy, or it is a boy. So he was so excited, and I am so happy for him and for us that it's a boy. Little boys are the best. Not to mention having a teenage girl terrifies me. So if I can have a boy this first go around, maybe I'll be a little bit more equipped if God blesses us with a girl for the second time around. We'll see. But yeah, so I told my husband first, and then we told my family on Christmas Eve when we went to my parents, and then Christmas Day when we were at my grandparents' house. So we had planned to tell my husband's family on Christmas Day as well, because we were going to make our rounds that day, but the weather ended up being crappy, so we stayed in one place, and then we had to just keep pushing it out to when we were going to do our Christmas with his family. So we finally were able to tell them that it's a boy this past weekend. So everybody knows, it's not a secret anymore. And pretty much everybody knows that I'm pregnant now. When I hit the 13-week mark, actually Christmas Day night is when we made the announcement on Facebook, and it was just really cool to see all the love that was pouring in from people. And people had known before. People like at my parents' work and church, and a couple people at my work knew. But just having it out there as public news just made me so much more happy to feel like everybody could share in our joy. And it was just really a blessing to my heart to feel all this love come pouring in from people that we know well, people that we don't know so well. But it was just really a good Christmas gift to feel that love. So that was really fun. Let's see. So after Christmas on December 28th, that's when I had my second midwife appointment. It was a really quick appointment, nothing crazy because I really didn't have any concerns. I mean, I was feeling better. So all she did was just check in, and then she checked the baby's heartbeat. And it's amazing how much louder it is now. Before, when we first heard the heartbeat, honestly, like I didn't really even hear it. Like all I heard was just like that kind of like staticky background stuff, and like I thought I heard the heartbeat for like a split second. My husband heard it, like the midwife heard it, but I was just like, oh yeah, cool, it's there. I don't really hear it. But this time it was like that obvious just like thumping, which was just so cool to see, or not to see, so cool to hear, because that's just proof again that the little guy is growing and he's getting bigger. And at that point the heartbeat was closer to 150 beats per minute. So just as he's getting bigger and his heart's getting bigger, the heart's not having to pump as fast. And so it's just really cool to see how things are progressing, and just this little miracle that's at work is just amazing. And at that appointment as well, got weighed again, and I was 137 pounds at that point. So that was a +2 pounds weight gain since week 8. So total, I'd say probably about 3 pounds, 4 pounds, if I'm being generous to myself. But if we're gonna count from week 8 to week 13, only gained 2 pounds, which I was bracing myself to gain like so much more, because I've just been bloated and my body's changing, and I was just bracing myself to like be destroyed. That sounds terrible. I mean, I'm not worried about weight gain really. I know it's gonna happen. I just want it to be controlled. So I was kind of happy to hear I'd only gained 2 pounds. And that was really it for that second appointment. Really just everything's progressing, and yeah, she didn't have any concerns, just said great, everything looks fine. The test came back fine, and then we just talked about scheduling the next test, which will be the neural tube something that they do during the second trimester. So that'll be coming up soon, as well as the anatomy scan, where they can confirm if this really is a little boy. If it is a girl, holy crap, that'll be insane. But I think it's a boy. Boy was my gut reaction like the whole time. Even during that first ultrasound, this might sound totally just bonkers, but during that first ultrasound, looking at the pictures, I just like thought in my head like, that looks like a boy. And I know that's totally crazy, but that's just what I thought, and I just had this gut feeling the whole time. So I'm hoping that my intuition and the sneak peek test are right, and we will know for sure in a couple weeks. All right, so let's move on to week 14. So this past week, no, 15 weeks now, yeah. Ay, ay, ay. Pregnancy brain is real, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's real. So week 14 to week 15. I don't know if I'm being crazy either, but I swear I felt like little tiny movements, like twinges, like, I don't know, it almost feels like a muscle spasm sometimes. Oh, and so here's another thing from my past appointment at week 13. She was asking me if I felt anything yet, and I was like, no, I don't think so. And then I was like, well, I have felt like a couple like weird little muscle spasm type things, but it doesn't happen all the time or anything. And she told me, she's like, really, if you feel anything just out of the ordinary that you never felt before you were pregnant, it's likely the baby. So whenever I feel like, I don't know, like a little poke or like something like that, I don't know if it's like a twitch in my stomach because there's more blood flowing around in there or what, but I'm staying optimistic that I think my cat's knocking things off. Really though? Anyways, I'm staying optimistic that I think the little nugget is kicking around in there and I might be feeling little things. Actually, yesterday I was sitting in a meeting at work. It was a long meeting. It was like 2 hours, so I wasn't moving at all really. Just like fidgeting in my chair because I'm uncomfortable all the time. But I felt like this very prominent, just like single poke, like someone just poked me in the stomach. There wasn't anything after that, but it wasn't like the typical like muscle spasm. It was more like something touched me. So I told my husband last night and he was like, yeah, you're crazy. But I don't think I'm crazy. I've thought I've been crazy this past 15 weeks because of all that's going on. And every time I'm reassured that I'm not crazy. So I'm just gonna go forward thinking that I'm not crazy and I'm actually feeling something moving in me. Yeah, so I hope that these get stronger really quickly because I just think it's the most amazing thing to actually be able to feel and then hopefully be able to like see the little guy moving around in there. I think that'll be just mind-boggling. But what else? Week 14 to 15. Round ligament pain a bit. So this happened a few weeks ago for sure. I really haven't felt much of it since, but the past few days or so, I've started to feel like, I guess just like pulling maybe, just growing pains, nothing severe, but like if I sneeze, I might feel like a little like cramp, like, ooh, I just stretched something there. Speaking of sneezing, another thing that happened, totally embarrassing. Thank God I was home and it was the middle of the night. I got up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and I like made it into the bathroom and I sneezed and like it just started to come out. Like nothing a lot, but like I definitely peed myself a little bit and I'm like, what? I'm like 14, 15 weeks pregnant. It's too early to be doing this. Like, this is not good. Can't wait till I'm like having a 6-7 pound baby pushing down on my bladder and I totally pissed my pants. So that was a little weird. I am having fewer and fewer food aversions as time goes on, thankfully. I've been so sick of just not wanting to eat or not wanting to eat good things. I am also just tired. I mean, I have more energy than I did. I guess it depends on the day. And it's probably this time of year too, like after the holidays, that post-holiday thing, where you just, you know, you're bummed. So, just feeling tired this week especially, not sleeping as well. And then my acne is still flaring here and there. Like sometimes, some days I feel like it looks a lot better. And some days I'm just like, ugh, what the heck, just like clear up already. I don't know if that's because there's like boy hormones circulating in my blood. I don't know, just hormones in general do crazy things. So that's that. But that's really all the symptoms that I have going on. I guess I'm really getting in the mood to shop more and like buy more stuff. That's really kicked in the past 2 weeks or so, especially now that we know it's a boy, or we're pretty sure it's a boy. It just makes it a little bit more real that we can start shopping and like getting his room ready and things like that. So I'm really excited to start doing that more. without going totally crazy. I feel like if it was a girl, I would go that much more crazy. So hopefully, because it's a boy, I won't go as insane with like clothes and stuff. We'll see. We'll see. I might get on a roll and just go nuts. So that's it for symptoms and everything leading up to this point. Moving forward, I'm really hoping to be able to get into a better workout routine again. I got a membership to a gym that opens in the next week or two. I just want to maintain some physical activity. It's really hard to be active outside or to do things like go for walks, whatever, when it's crappy outside. New England winters are rough. I'm sitting here looking out the window at a snowstorm right now. There's no way that I'm going outside for a walk, and I haven't for like weeks, so that sucks. So I want to get back into a groove with that. I also need to shop for some new bras at this point. We're getting to that point where, yeah, just need to go up a little bit. And then my next appointment is at 18 weeks. So I have 2 weeks left till my next appointment. And then we'll have another ultrasound very soon after that. And things just keep moving along. It's just so exciting and so crazy. So I'm gonna end this now. I've been talking forever, but there was a lot to catch up on. I have a lot of other things to share, like some of the pregnancy essentials that I've been loving and using. So I will do that in another video. And then of course, as things progress, I'm gonna have more to share. So I'm going to be coming back for more videos later, but for now, this is it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Okay, psych, I'm back. I was getting so excited to wrap this up because I've been talking forever that I didn't show you my bump. So here goes a bump shot. There's definitely something there, for sure.